Stop everything and check your pennies right now, because some Lincoln cent coins are worth life-changing money. The most valuable Lincoln cent in history is the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, accidentally struck on copper instead of steel during World War II. Only a few are known to exist, and authentic examples have sold for over $1 million at auction. Another highly valuable penny is the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent, the first year of issue with very low mintage, often selling for tens of thousands of dollars in high condition. Also watch for the 1955 double die Lincoln cent, famous for its strong doubling on the date and lettering, worth thousands even in worn condition. Always check the year, mint mark, weight, and magnetic test. One small penny in your pocket could be a hidden treasure, so never ignore your change again. Stop what you're doing right now and take a close look at the pennies you may still have lying around, because one ordinary-looking coin from the early 1990s could be hiding a surprising story and real value. Today we're talking about the 1991 D Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States, a penny most people overlook. Yet collectors know that certain examples of this coin can be far more valuable than face value. This video will guide you through everything you need to know about the 1991 D penny, its history, design, metal composition, minting details, rare errors, and exactly what makes some of these coins worth serious money. The Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins in American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1991, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design had already been in circulation for decades, making the coin familiar to millions of Americans. However, familiarity often causes people to underestimate value, and that's where many valuable coins slip through unnoticed. The 1991 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. In 1991, the United States Mint produced a massive number of pennies to meet everyday circulation demand. The Denver Mint alone struck well over 4 billion Lincoln cents that year, which explains why most 1991 D pennies are still commonly found in pocket chain today. Even though the mintage numbers are high, not all coins are created equal. Condition, strike quality, and minting errors play a huge role in determining value. Most people assume that a coin must be extremely old to be valuable, but that simply isn't true. Modern coins, including the 1991 D penny, can be worth significantly more than 1 cent when they have the right characteristics. The obverse of the 1991 D Lincoln cent features Abraham Lincoln facing right, a portrait originally designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head is the word Liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears along the top rim. The date 1991 is displayed to the right of Lincoln's portrait, with a D mint mark just beneath it. The design is simple, elegant, and instantly recognizable. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial between the central columns. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, and below it is a denomination 1 cent. The phrase E pluribus unum appears across the top of the memorial. In terms of composition, the 1991 D Lincoln penny is made primarily of zinc, with a thin copper plating on the surface. This change in metal composition was introduced in 1982 to reduce production costs. As a result, the 1991 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams, compared to older copper cents that weigh around 3.11 grams. This difference becomes important when identifying off-metal errors or wrong planchet strikes. Most circulated 1991 D pennies are only worth face value, but coins that remain in excellent condition can sell for higher prices. Uncirculated examples with strong detail, clean surfaces, and original mint luster are especially desirable. Collectors often pay a premium for coins that appear almost untouched since the day they were minted. What truly excites collectors, however, are errors and varieties. This is where the 1991 D Lincoln penny becomes far more interesting. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process, and these mistakes can significantly increase value. One of the most popular errors to look for is a double die. This happens when the coin design is accidentally impressed more than once in slightly different positions. On a double die 1991 D penny, you might notice doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." The doubling can appear as a shadow-like effect or as clearly separated letters, depending on the severity. Another valuable error is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted toward the edge. Off-center 1991D pennies can range from mildly misaligned to dramatically off-center, with the more extreme examples commanding higher prices. Clip planchet errors are also worth watching for. These happen when a piece of metal is improperly cut before striking, resulting in a coin with a curved or straight missing section. Authentic clips usually show smooth edges and a natural flow of metal around the missing area. Die cracks and die breaks are another category of collectible errors. These appear as raised lines or irregular shapes on the surface of the coin, caused by cracks in the die used to strike the coin. While minor cracks may add only modest value, large or dramatic die breaks can be quite desirable. One of the rarest and most valuable possibilities is a wrong planchet error. This happens when a penny is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. If a 1991D Lincoln cent was struck on a planchet meant for another coin, its weight, color, and thickness will be noticeably different. These errors are extremely rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. Condition plays a major role in value. A heavily worn 1991D penny that has circulated for years will show flattened details, scratches, and discoloration. On the other hand, a coin that has never been circulated will retain sharp design details, original shine, and minimal surface marks. Even small differences in condition can lead to large differences in price. Collectors often focus on strike quality as well. Some coins are struck more sharply than others, even within the same year and mint. A strong strike means that fine details, such as Lincoln's hair and the lines of the memorial, appear crisp and well-defined. Strongly struck coins are always more appealing to collectors. Another factor that adds value is eye appeal. Coins with clean surfaces, balanced color, and attractive luster tend to sell for higher prices than dull or stained examples. Even without errors, a beautiful 1991D penny can still attract collector interest. It's also important to understand market demand. Lincoln cents are among the most widely collected coins in the United States. Many collectors aim to complete full date and mint collections, which means there's consistent demand for high-quality examples of each year, including 1991D. If you're searching for valuable 1991D pennies, start by checking your pocket change, old jars, coin rolls, and collections inherited from family members. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, mint mark, and lettering for any signs of doubling or unusual features. A digital scale can help identify weight differences that may indicate an error. Always handle coins carefully, holding them by the edges to avoid fingerprints and damage. Never clean a coin, as cleaning can significantly reduce its value, even if the coin appears shinier afterward. Original surfaces are far more important to collectors than artificial brightness. Many people are shocked to learn that coins they've ignored for years can actually be worth real money. The 1991D Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how everyday change can hold hidden value if you know what to look for. As interest in coin collecting continues to grow, modern coins with errors and high-quality examples are becoming more popular. Stop everything and listen carefully, because the 1976D Lincoln 1-cent coin you might be overlooking today could be far more important than you ever imagined. This humble penny from the United States carries history, hidden value, rare errors, and strong collector demand that continues to grow every year. Many people spend it without a second thought, but experienced coin collectors know that certain 1976D Lincoln cents can be worth far more than 1 cent, especially when condition, strike quality, and mint errors come into play. The 1976D Lincoln penny was produced during one of the most patriotic and historic years in American history. The United States was celebrating its bicentennial, marking 200 years of independence, and coin production was at extremely high levels to meet public demand. While the penny did not receive a special bicentennial design like quarters, half dollars, and dollars, the year itself adds historical importance that collectors strongly appreciate. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located below the date on the obverse. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Lincoln's profile faces right, with the word Liberty clearly visible to the left and the date 1976 with a Denver Mint mark to the right. On the reverse side, the 1976 D penny still carries the Lincoln Memorial design, which was used from 1959 through 2008. The Lincoln Memorial appears centered, with United States of America along the top, E pluribus unum above the building, and 1 cent boldly displayed at the bottom. If you look closely between the columns of the memorial, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside, one of the most detailed miniature engravings in U.S. coin history. The 1976 D Lincoln cent is made primarily of copper, consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which give it a solid feel and warm reddish tone when well preserved. This copper composition is especially important to collectors today because modern pennies no longer contain as much copper, making pre-1982 cents increasingly desirable. Millions of these coins were minted in Denver, meaning most examples in circulated condition are still worth face value. However, value changes dramatically when you find a coin with strong original luster, sharp details, or unusual mint errors. This is where many people unknowingly miss out on potential money. One of the most important factors affecting the value of a 1976 D Lincoln penny is condition. Coins that have never been heavily circulated, that still show bright surfaces and minimal wear, can attract serious collector interest. Look closely at Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and hair details. If these areas appear sharp and not flattened, your coin could be in much better shape than the average example. Another critical detail to inspect is the reverse. Check the steps and columns of the Lincoln Memorial. Weak or blurry columns usually indicate wear, while crisp, well-defined columns suggest a higher quality strike. Strong reverse detail is especially important to collectors who specialize in high-grade Lincoln cents. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where the real excitement begins. Some 1976 D pennies were struck with minting mistakes that can dramatically increase their value. One of the most popular errors to look for is doubling. Doubling can appear on the date, the word Liberty, or even the lettering on the reverse. If letters or numbers appear doubled or shadowed, your penny could be far more valuable than a normal example. Another valuable error to watch for is an off-center strike. If the design is noticeably shifted to one side and part of the blank coin is visible, collectors may pay a premium depending on how dramatic the offset is. Even slight off-center strikes can be desirable if the date and mint mark remain visible. Clip planchet errors are another possibility. These occur when part of the coin's edge is missing due to a cutting error during production. A genuine curved clip, especially one that does not disturb the coin's overall design, can significantly boost value. Some 1976 D Lincoln cents also show die cracks or die chips. These appear as raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface of the coin. While small cracks may only add modest value, larger or more dramatic die breaks can be highly collectible and sought after by error coin enthusiasts. Color is another major factor that affects desirability. Copper pennies are generally categorized by their color, ranging from brown to red-brown to full red. Coins that retain more of their original red copper color are far scarcer and more valuable. If your 1976 D penny still has a bright reddish appearance with minimal darkening, it could stand out strongly among collectors. Collectors also look for strong strikes and smooth surfaces free from corrosion or environmental damage. Because copper reacts easily with moisture and chemicals, many older pennies develop spots or discoloration. A clean, evenly toned 1976 D penny is always more appealing than one with stains or heavy marks. Beyond value, the 1976 D Lincoln cent represents an important moment in American history. It circulated during the bicentennial era, a time of national pride, celebration, and reflection. Holding this coin is like holding a small piece of that era, making it especially appealing to both new and seasoned collectors. Many people underestimate modern-era pennies, assuming that only very old coins matter. In reality, Lincoln cents from the 1970s are increasingly studied, collected, and searched for varieties and errors. As fewer high-quality examples survive each year, collector demand continues to rise. If you are searching through your pocket change, coin jars, or old rolls, always take a second look at any 1976 D pennies you find. Even if you don't see an obvious error at first glance, careful inspection under good lighting can reveal subtle details others miss. The popularity of Lincoln cents has remained strong for decades, and the 1976 D penny benefits from that enduring interest. Whether you collect for history, value, or the thrill of the hunt, this coin deserves attention. Before you spend another penny without looking, remember that hidden value often goes unnoticed simply because people are not aware of what to check. The 1976 D Lincoln 1-cent coin may be common at first glance, but in the right condition or with the right era, it can become a true collector's prize. If you enjoy discovering rare coins, learning about U.S. coin history, and uncovering hidden value in everyday change, make sure you stay curious. Keep searching, and never assume a penny is just a penny. The next 1976 D Lincoln cent you find could surprise you. And if you want more deep dive videos like this, focus on U.S. coins, hidden errors, and valuable pocket change, stay tuned, because there are many more fascinating coins waiting to be discovered. Stop what you're doing and listen closely, because the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin is far more interesting than most people realize. While many Americans have handled this penny thousands of times, very few truly understand its history, hidden value potential, rare varieties, mint errors, and why collectors still actively search for this specific year today. The 1980 Lincoln cent may look ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions, some examples can be worth significantly more than face value, especially when condition, mint mark, and era types come into play. The Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909, and by 1980, it had already become one of the most widely recognized coins in the world. The obverse of the 1981 cent coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces to the right, with the word Liberty clearly visible behind his head, while the date 1980 appears prominently in front. Above Lincoln's head is a familiar phrase, "In God We Trust," a motto that has appeared on U.S. coinage for generations and continues to hold historical significance. Turning the coin over reveals the Lincoln Memorial design, which was used on U.S. pennies from 1959 through 2008. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with a statue of Lincoln faintly visible inside the structure. Above the memorial is the phrase United States of America, and directly beneath it reads, E pluribus unum. At the bottom of the coin, the denomination 1 cent is clearly stamped. This design connects American history, architecture, and national identity in a single small coin. One of the most important things to understand about the 1980 Lincoln cent is its composition. In 1980, U.S. pennies were still made primarily of copper, consisting of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc. This is significant because just 2 years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to copper-plated zinc cents due to rising copper prices. As a result, the 1980 Lincoln penny represents one of the last full years of traditional copper cent, making it especially appealing to collectors who value older metal compositions. The weight of a genuine 1980 copper Lincoln cent is about 3.11 grams. This detail is extremely important for collectors because weight can help identify authenticity and detect unusual errors. Any significant deviation from the standard weight could indicate a mint error or an altered coin, both of which can dramatically affect value. In 1980, Lincoln cents were produced at 3 different U.S. mint facilities. Coins without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia. Coins bearing a D mint mark were produced in Denver. Coins with an S mint mark were made in San Francisco, primarily for collectors rather than general circulation. Each mint produced coins with slight differences in strike quality, luster, and overall appearance, and collectors often pursue complete sets containing all mint variations. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1980 Lincoln cents, making them extremely common in circulated condition. Denver also produced a very large number of cents that year, and these coins are widely found across the United States. The San Francisco Mint, however, struck proof versions of the 1980 Lincoln cent, which were never intended for circulation and were instead sold to collectors in special sets. Proof coins feature sharp details, mirror-like fields, and frosted designs, making them visually striking compared to regular circulation strikes. While most 1980 Lincoln pennies are worth only 1 cent in worn condition, value begins to increase as condition improves. Coins that show minimal wear, strong luster, and sharp details can be worth more, especially to collectors assembling high-quality date and mint mark sets. Uncirculated examples are particularly desirable, as they retain their original mint appearance and have never been used in everyday transactions. The real excitement surrounding the 1980 Lincoln cent comes from mint errors and varieties. Error coins occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and even small mistakes can create coins that are highly collectible. Some of the most sought-after 1980 Lincoln cent errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, and double strikes. These errors can range from subtle to dramatic, and the more visually obvious the error, the greater its potential value. Another important category is double die varieties. These occur when a die receives multiple misaligned impressions during a creation, resulting in doubled lettering or numbers on the coin. On 1980 Lincoln cents, collectors carefully examine the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust" for signs of doubling. True double die coins display clear separation and notching in the letters and numbers, making them distinct from common forms of machine doubling. Die cracks and die chips are also frequently collected. These errors happen when the minting die begins to deteriorate, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin. While minor die cracks are fairly common, large or dramatic examples can command strong interest from error collectors. Another area of interest is repunched mint marks, particularly on Denver minted coins. While repunched mint marks became less common by 1980 due to changes in minting technology, they still occasionally appear and can add value when clearly visible. Color is another critical factor in determining value. Copper coins naturally change color over time, ranging from bright red to reddish-brown to full brown. Collectors often categorize copper pennies as red, red-brown, or brown. Red examples are the most desirable because they retain their original copper brilliance. A fully red 1980 Lincoln cent in pristine condition is far scarcer than a brown circulated example and can be significantly more valuable. The condition of the coin surfaces also matters greatly. Coins with minimal contact marks, strong strikes, and original luster are far more appealing to collectors. Any signs of cleaning, corrosion, or damage can drastically reduce value. That's why it's important to handle potential collectible coins carefully, ideally by the edges, and store them in protective holders. The historical context of the 1980 Lincoln cent also adds to its appeal. The year 1980 marked a period of economic transition in the United States, with inflation, rising metal prices, and changes in manufacturing practices influencing coin production. The shift away from traditional copper cents was already on the horizon, making 1980 an important year in the story of American coinage. Collectors today often seek 1980 Lincoln cents for multiple reasons. Some want a complete date and mint mark sets. Others focus on copper composition pennies. Error collectors actively hunt for unusual varieties. Even beginners find the 1980 penny appealing because it is affordable, widely available, and offers a great introduction to the hobby of coin collecting. Searching through rolls of pennies can still yield surprises. While most finds will be common, discovering a high-quality uncirculated coin or an unexpected error can be thrilling. This sense of treasure hunting is a major reason why Lincoln cents remain so popular among collectors of all ages. Storage and preservation are essential if you believe you found a valuable 1980 Lincoln cent. Stop everything for a moment and take a closer look at your spare change, because the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States may look ordinary, but it carries a story, history, and value potential that surprises most people. Millions of Americans have handled this penny without realizing what makes certain examples highly collectible today. This video will walk you through everything you need to know about the 1974 Lincoln cent, including its history, metal composition, mint variations, rare errors, and why collectors still search for this coin decades after it was released. The Lincoln 1-cent series is one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it became the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. By the time 1974 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 6 decades, and its design was instantly recognizable to Americans of all ages. The obverse still displayed Abraham Lincoln's profile, a symbol of unity and leadership, while the reverse continued to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been introduced in 1959. The year 1974 was a significant time in American history. The country was recovering from economic challenges. Inflation was rising, and everyday coins like the penny played an important role in daily commerce. The United States Mint produced an enormous number of 1-cent coins that year to meet demand. Because of this high production, many people assume that the 1974 Lincoln penny has no value beyond face value. However, that assumption is not always correct. The 1974 Lincoln cent was struck at 3 different locations. Coins were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver coins feature a small D, and San Francisco coins are marked with an S. Each of these mint varieties has its own characteristics, and some are more desirable than others depending on condition and striking quality. In terms of composition, the 1974 Lincoln cent is made primarily of copper. This was before the major composition change that occurred in the early 1980s, so these pennies contain approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc. Because of this copper content, many people are drawn to pre-1982 Lincoln cents, especially during times when copper prices rise. While melting coins is illegal, the metal content still adds to the appeal and collectability of these older cents. Most 1974 Lincoln cents were heavily circulated. They were used in everyday transactions, stored in jars, and passed from hand to hand for decades. As a result, finding examples today with strong detail, full original luster, and minimal wear can be surprisingly difficult. This is where value begins to increase. Coins that were saved early, rolled away, or preserved by collectors stand out sharply from typical worn examples. When examining a 1974 penny, collectors look closely at the details of Lincoln's portrait. Sharp lines in the hair, strong definition in the beard, and clear separation of design elements all contribute to desirability. On the reverse, the Lincoln memorial should show strong columns and crisp lettering. Coins with flat details or heavy wear are common, but coins with exceptional detail are far less common and can command much higher prices. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1974 Lincoln cent is a variety of mint errors and striking anomalies that exist. Error coins are highly sought after because they are unique, and some 1974 errors are known to bring impressive premiums. These errors occurred during the minting process and were not intentional, making them fascinating pieces of mint history. One commonly searched error involves off-center strikes. These coins were not properly aligned when struck, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The more dramatic the off-center strike, while still showing the date, the more desirable the coin becomes. Another popular error type is a double strike, where the coin was struck more than once, creating overlapping or distorted images. Collectors also look for double die varieties. These occur when the die used to strike the coin has a doubled image, resulting in noticeable doubling on letters or numbers. On a 1974 Lincoln cent, doubling may appear in the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." True double die coins are different from machine doubling and can be extremely valuable depending on visibility and clarity. Clip planchette errors are another exciting find. These occur when a coin blank is improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight missing section along the edge. When authentic, these errors are highly collectible and easily recognizable. The presence of multiple error types on a single 1974 cent can significantly increase its appeal. Condition plays a major role in determining the value of a 1974 Lincoln cent. While circulated examples are extremely common, uncirculated coins with strong eye appeal are much harder to locate. Coins that retain their original red color, free from dark spots or discoloration, are especially popular among collectors. Even slight differences in preservation can lead to large differences in value. The San Francisco Mint produced 1974 Lincoln cents primarily for collectors, and many of these coins were made with higher quality standards. As a result, 1974 cents are often found in better condition compared to their Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. Proof versions also exist from San Francisco, struck with specially prepared dies and planches, featuring mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. These proof coins were never intended for circulation, and are collected separately from regular strike pennies. Another reason the 1974 Lincoln cent remains popular is nostalgia. Many collectors today grew up using these coins, and that personal connection adds emotional value beyond monetary worth. Collecting coins from your birth year or childhood is a common entry point into numismatics, and the 1974 penny fits perfectly into that category for many people. The market for Lincoln cents remains strong because the series appeals to beginners and advanced collectors alike. Completing date and mint mark sets is a popular goal, and high-quality examples of common dates can still be challenging to locate. This keeps demand steady even for years with high mintages like 1974. If you are searching through rolls or old jars of pennies, the 1974 Lincoln cent is absolutely worth a second look. Pay attention to color, surface quality, strike sharpness, and any unusual features. Even small differences can separate a common coin from a desirable collectible. Learning to recognize these details is part of what makes coin collecting rewarding and exciting. Many people are surprised to learn that coins they once overlooked can become valuable over time. While not every 1974 penny will be worth more than 1 cent, the right example in the right condition or with the right era can be worth significantly more. Knowledge is the key, and the more you understand what to look for, the better your chances of finding something special. The 1974 Lincoln 1 cent is a reminder that history lives in everyday objects. Each coin tells a story of the time it was made, the hands it passed through, and the journey it took to reach you. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore coin collecting, this penny offers an accessible and fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Stop everything and take a closer look at your pocket change, because today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating post-war coins ever minted in the United States, the 1946 Lincoln 1 cent coin. This penny may look ordinary at first glance, but behind its copper surface lies history, hidden value, rare varieties, and collector demand that many people completely overlook. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1946 Lincoln cent is far more important than most people realize, and how even a single detail could make yours worth far more than face value. The 1946 Lincoln cent was struck just 1 year after World War II ended, making it one of the first U.S. pennies produced during America's return to peacetime. The country was rebuilding, industries were shifting back to civilian production, and the U.S. Mint resumed normal coinage operations. This historical timing alone makes the 1946 penny a key transitional coin in American numismatic history. Collectors are drawn to it not only for its age, but for what it represents: resilience, recovery, and the dawn of a new era. The obverse of the 1946 Lincoln cent features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces right, with the word Liberty clearly visible on the left side and the date 1946 position on the right. Above Lincoln's head is a famous motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that holds deep meaning for many collectors, especially during the post-war years when national pride was strong. On the reverse side, the 1946 penny displays a classic wheat ears design, often called a wheat penny. 2 wheat stalks curve along the edges, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural strength. Between them are the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum written across the top. This design was used from 1909 to 1958, and the 1946 issue is one of the final early post-war wheat cents, adding to its appeal. One of the most important aspects of the 1946 Lincoln cent is its metal composition. Unlike wartime steel cents or later copper-plated zinc pennies, the 1946 cent is made primarily of copper. Specifically, it contains about 95% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. This high copper content gives a coin its classic reddish-brown tone, and also makes it popular among both coin collectors and metal enthusiasts. As copper prices rise, interest in older copper cents like the 1946 Lincoln penny continues to grow. The 1946 Lincoln cent was minted at 3 different locations in the United States. Coins produced in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. Denver coins display a small D, and San Francisco issues show an S. Each mint produced large quantities, but that doesn't mean all of them are common in high-quality condition today. Many of these pennies were heavily circulated, damaged, or lost over time, which makes well-preserved examples significantly harder to find. The 1946 Philadelphia Lincoln cent had the highest mintage, with hundreds of millions produced. Because of this, circulated examples are common, but uncirculated pieces with strong detail, sharp lettering, and original color are much more desirable. Collectors look closely at the surface quality, especially Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and the wheat ears on the reverse, as these areas show wear quickly. The 1946 D Lincoln cent from Denver is especially popular among collectors. While still producing large numbers, Denver minted coins often show different striking characteristics. Some examples exhibit stronger details, while others show weak strikes depending on the die used. Finding a 1946 D penny with full wheat lines and crisp lettering can dramatically increase its desirability. The 1946 S Lincoln cent from San Francisco is another key coin to watch. San Francisco coins are often known for slightly softer strikes, which means finding a sharp, well-defined example can be challenging. This difficulty adds to the value potential for collectors seeking top-quality specimens. Many collectors specifically target high-grade 1946 S pennies for this reason. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get exciting. A typical circulated 1946 Lincoln cent may only be worth a small premium over face value, but condition is everything. Coins with minimal wear, strong luster, and original copper color can be worth many times more. Red-colored examples, meaning those that retain much of their original mint color, are especially sought after. One of the biggest value drivers for the 1946 Lincoln cent is error coins and varieties. Minting errors occurred more frequently than most people realize, and many slipped into circulation unnoticed. Common errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled lettering, and planchet flaws. A noticeable error can instantly transform an ordinary penny into a highly collectible piece. Double die errors are among the most valuable varieties to look for. These occur when the coin die receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned, causing doubling on letters or numbers. On a 1946 penny, collectors carefully examine the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust for any signs of doubling. Even subtle doubling can significantly increase value if clearly visible. Another important factor is strike quality. Some 1946 pennies were weakly struck, while others show exceptional detail. Coins with strong strikes, especially on Lincoln's hair and the wheat ears, are far more desirable. Sharp details indicate better minting quality and less wear, both of which collectors love. Color also plays a major role in determining value. 1946 Lincoln cents are often classified by their color appearance, ranging from red to red-brown to brown. Coins that retain a bright red copper color are the most valuable, followed by red-brown examples. Fully brown pennies are still collectible, but typically worth less unless they are in extremely high condition or have rare errors. Historical significance adds another layer of appeal. The 1946 Lincoln cent reflects America's post-war optimism and economic recovery. It represents a time when everyday coins were made of real copper, craftsmanship mattered, and money carried both practical and symbolic value. For many collectors, owning a 1946 penny is like holding a small piece of American history in their hands. Collectors often build complete sets of wheat pennies, and the 1946 issue is an essential part of those collections. Whether someone is assembling a date set, a mint mark set, or a high-grade copper collection, the 1946 Lincoln cent plays a key role. Demand remains steady because new collectors enter the hobby every year, all searching for these classic coins. If you're searching through your own coins, take your time and examine each 1946 penny carefully. Look for clear dates, strong lettering, minimal scratches, and any unusual features. Use good lighting and magnification if possible. Sometimes the smallest detail can make the biggest difference in value. It's also important to store your coins properly once you find a promising example. Keep them away from moisture, heat, and direct contact with other metals. Preserving the coin surface is essential for maintaining its value over time. Even small handling marks can reduce desirability. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies remains strong, and interest in copper coin continues to rise. As fewer high-quality examples remain available, demand for coins like the 1946 Lincoln cent is expected to stay solid.